Because here's the thing, the black community is the feeder class. And the way to keep the feeder class feeding the economy, a $1.1 trillion spending power feeding the economy, is to keep black women separate from black men. And the best way to keep you separate from us is to say that, put you in a position to where you get a little few benefits over here, tell you can't trust him, you can't do nothing. So when you do see black men standing up, doing the patriarchal thing, leading, building, our instinct is to tear it down, to run the status quo.
Peace. Pre-select thoughts. Back here with another video. Yo, bang that subscribe button. As we grow, as we build the plane, you could say you was here from day one, throughout all the dustiness, throughout all the ashiness, as we're upgrading the technology, as we're gaining experience on the mic. You could say you was here from day one. Yo, shout out to y'all. Let's get it. Guys, they deleted Kevin Samules, and I have proof. And I don't know about you, black man, but I am tired of them taking out our black thought leaders, our black intellectual tanks, our black businesses, Black Wall Street, and otherwise. Let's get into it.
Where are the black banks? We talk about all this stuff, but you cannot build without a black, black men are not your enemy.
So guys, as I am progressing in this world, I'm in my very late 20s, and I grew up listening to men from the finance sector to the religious sector to the relationship sector, men like Dr. Boyce Watkins. I know in this space that we're in, black men and other men clown, make fun of, and tarnish Dr. Boyce Watkins' image. Black men, we have to stop doing that. Although we do not agree with our brothers in some aspects and some thoughts and some ways of life, we have to understand that we are still a group. I went from listening to men in all sectors, black men in particular, growing up as a youngin', as a young black man, thinking I can take on the world with this information. As we go through life, and as I was going through life, not knowing and not realizing what was going on, I noticed our powerful black men, black thought leaders, black men who galvanized the group. I noticed them being deleted from men like Malcolm X, from men like Dr. Martin Luther King. I hear these stories from black men, from the black community in general, speaking about how these black men who galvanized the group are deleted. And we know there's no secret when it comes to our deletion. Whether we are covertly or overtly deleted, we are jailed or silenced, black men and the black community in general knows that this is a thing. And it is the same case with Kevin Samules.
I've had death threats. We got to ask the question.
Kevin Samules was talking about black economic growth, talking about black businesses, talking about the group and how black men have to improve to make the black community better.
You don't understand, watch my content. I talk about this all the time. How the black community was lied to. How we were purposely split up so that black people could fund this country. Black men are not your enemy. I'm not your enemy. You don't know my content, go back and watch.
He was coming with facts, data, statistics. He was talking about it from a relationship standpoint. He was giving us the candy, but it had medicine in it. Speaking about how keeping black people separate, black men and women separate, makes the greater society more money. He was breaking down the science, living on this earth long enough to see things transition from Jim Crow to what we have now. He saw in those generations of men, the silent generation, Generation X, those men saw and dealt with things that me growing up and listening to these men, I ingested. But when we talk about our thought leaders, men like Honorable Elijah Muhammad, men like Marcus Garvey, and how they transition, how they are deleted, we start to notice a common theme. And we think to ourselves, me, myself included, why is it when black men try to galvanize the group for economic progression, it is either destroyed or that man is destroyed? Why is it when Black Wall Street, all of these black economic institutions that were being built in the 1900s, we have the history on it. Why were they taken down? Why were they destroyed? Why were our black women and children being deleted? And it is no different with Kevin Samuels. I don't care what the media says about how he passed, how he transitioned. I see the patterns. And I don't know about you black men, but I am personally tired of our men who want black men and women to do better. Our brother Kevin Samuels was talking about how we need to have black couples because self-improvement is the basis of community development, but black couples are cornerstones.
You can't black nothing without black couples.
He was preaching about how he wanted black men and black women to be together, to have families, talking about how the establishment didn't want that because of our economic buying power and how we can spend more separate. He was breaking it down.
Media lets you know they gonna say that we don't ever get together. It's like, no, yes we do. It's just we're low key about it because y'all just love tearing us apart.
Well, we're gonna have to promote it ourselves. They don't have to promote. If I were them, I wouldn't promote it either because black disunity makes them money.
Yes.
So I don't expect them to give us nothing, but I ain't asking them.
Gaining millions of subscribers and followings, and they deleted him as a result, just like all of the other intellectual black men who galvanize black men in the black community. Shout out to the Whatever podcast. He spoke about how the government is actively pursuing and funding the disruption of the quote unquote red pill.
The Department of Homeland Security, oh my God, has funded a $700,000 study by some university in Arizona comparing, we're gonna pull this shit up, bro. It's fucking crazy, and you guys can look into this more. So this is massive. The U.S. Department of Homeland Security paid nearly $700,000 to a counterterrorism NGO to intercept and divert Twitter X traffic away from specific individuals in the manosphere. Those people were the Rational Male, Coberté, Fresh and Fit Pod, among others, whatever podcast, were specifically named as targets. Department of Homeland Security TVTP grant funding was given to Arizona State University, home of the McCain Institute. The purpose of the grant was to design a native tool to be used on Twitter to effectively suppress individuals in the manosphere by diverting their audiences away from their content towards counter-messaging content, websites, podcasts, and creators curated by the McCain Institute to counter quote unquote hate speech and misinformation. The US government has named the manosphere as one of the biggest terror threats facing the US.
And I don't know about you black men, but studying relationships, interpersonal dynamics, quote unquote red pill, studying these things, I realized that Kevin Samuels was the king of that space. He was clean, he was sharp, well punctuated. His image mattered to him on and off camera. And when we put two and two together, knowing that the government funded and is funding the dismantlement of the red pill, him being the king of it, breaking down America, Western society, and relationships with facts, with data and statistics, with the ultimate goal of black economic growth, we have to understand that they had to intercept what he was doing.
Part of what I do as image consulting, I have this thing called Suit Saturdays, where I challenge men to wear a suit on Saturdays and do what they normally do. Why? Because the image of black men has been being destroyed since D.W. Griffith's Birth of a Nation, 1915. Cops, this, that, the media keeps portraying negative images of black men, right? But the Nation of Islam proved that it won't work if you won't follow it. If you have your own image, they can put whatever they want on the big screen and in the media. But if you personally walk around and have your own personal brand, those two things won't line up, and it'll make a disconnect with the average person.
And make no mistake, they do this with all of our black think tanks. All of the black men who want to galvanize the group, make the community better, build Black Wall Street, they take them down, they dismantle them by either jail, propaganda, or overt, covert, or otherwise deletion. So I don't know about you black men, but I am tired of this. And this is why we have to have conversations on camera and off camera. I'm going to start going live. I have a setup to bridge the gap between the disconnect of the average black man, the celebrity class, in the business class. Because we have to have black media, we have to have black institutions. What they don't understand is the meek will inherit the earth. With that being said, if you take one out, 15, 20, north of 25 will multiply out of that. So I don't know about you, black men, but we are looking to build the group, build the community, build black families. Again, I'm going to start going live, but we need black media. We need to be able to push out our own propaganda. We need to do it right. Everything that we do, we have to understand that we have to do it right. We have to take pages out of other groups' books who have done it and who are doing it, who are maintaining it, and build our own community for world growth and for black growth.
And I'm saying be loyal to yourself. I cannot believe I am talking to a group of men who I'm having to tell, put yourself as a priority, black man. You are a priority. You matter. Your life matters. You matter. Every other group of men on this planet moves like they matter. We move like we are fucking utilities, beasts of burdens, and things to be used by other people. I reject that.
So shout out to the black men who have been there and done that. As I am, again, in my late 20s, learning and experiencing. As I go live, I'm not going to be the guy who knows everything. Shout out to the link. Shout out to my About Me. Still sharpen steel. So I would never be one figure I have all the answers. But the goal is black economic growth. The goal is for black men to level up our financial base. Shout out to the Nation of Islam. Another reason Kevin Samules was intercepted. Brother talked about the Nation of Islam. He was a man of a deep pool of wisdom. So again, as a young man, I say shout out to the Nation of Islam. Men like Elijah Muhammad, Minister Louis Farrakhan, Jeffrey Muhammad, Ishmael Muhammad. The list goes on. Nuri Muhammad. Shout out to the black think tanks and finances. Shout out to the Dr. Boyce Watkins. I don't care what people say about him, because we have different equations to get to the answer. But as long as we get to that answer, let that group be over there and let our group be over here and let that group in the distance be over there.
Look at what's going on with this whole country. Imagine if the CV had come from the dark continent. It would be easier to discriminate against you and me, but because it came from the Far East. Oh no, we can't do that. We got to be nice to them. Because they have economic freaking power. And no, I'm not pro that. No, I'm not pro, but I do understand I'm a black man. See, there has to be a way for black men to speak to black men and not be under the banner of pro-black or whatever. Common sense makes common sense. Group economics makes group economics. I'm a part of this group. I cannot check out. I am.
But if the root understanding is economic growth, cool. We may not agree with their equation, but we still love them and know that the root solution is black growth. Shout out to men like Chief Jones, and shout out to Kevin Samuels. As we know, we do not get deleted, we multiply. The meek will inherit the earth, and the pre-selected are pre-selected to be the cornerstones of that new world. So guys, shout out to you all, stay blessed, catch this next video, and until the next time, guys, ladies, understand, it takes the group. Nobody's perfect, but we are worth it. Until the next time, peace.